Hey, what's going on? Y'all just tune in on this thing really quickly. I really just wanted to talk, maybe like 5-10 minutes of your time. I know y'all see the title. It's called Are you really ready for marriage? Y'all gotta excuse me. We had some crazy services yesterday. But the title is called Are You Really Ready for Marriage? It's something that's been popping up quite often. It's something that's been in my inbox. A lot of people have been asking questions about it. And so I just really want to be transparent with you guys, because many times, if we be completely honest, well, I can't speak for nobody else besides me and my wife, but to be completely honest, a lot of times we go into situations, or we'll say, for the sake of marriage, we enter something prematurely, and then we get mad with God when we didn't prepare ourselves for what we were asking him for. And so when I say, are you really ready to be married? Because I want to lift something for you. What about the bad? If I see somebody saying that they're already married, and so this is just be another nugget or something to refresh and revive your marriage, if that is you, or if you're doing everything perfectly, just share it, bless somebody with it anyway. But a lot of times what we forget about the bad. Oh my God, we forget about the bad. What are you saying? Because a lot of times we don't stay in a marriage, or we don't stay commitment past the hurt, or we don't stay committed past the pain, or we don't value commitment after they've given us a reason to not trust him. And so if you're going to say, yes, I'm ready for marriage, and yes, I'm seeking these things, understand that it's not always going to be good. Yes, me and my wife love each other. Yes, we post on social media, and yes, we're very involved in the church, and we pray, we prophesy, we do all of these type of things. But understand that there is something called turmoil that hits a marriage. Understand that there is something called miscommunication that hits a marriage. And so what are you saying? Can you stay committed in those hours? Can you stay committed after they've been untrustworthy? Can you stay committed after something has gone wrong? And so a lot of us say we're seeking marriage, and then prophet has said something, and apostle both said something yesterday that says that how is it that I'm ready for marriage, and I won't even stop I won't even stop being the side chick long enough for God to send me the person that he has for me. And so if you're saying I'm ready for marriage and I'm ready for this next step, then you have to prepare yourself for it. Because a lot of times, here it is again, we enter things prematurely, and now we're mad with God, because after the pain hits us, if we be honest, after the pain hits us, then we're saying, God, I don't know what to do. And so can you stay married past the hurt? Can you stay married past the calamity? Can you stay married through all of these things? Because I'll tell you completely honest, yes, there are times me and my wife, we don't see eye to eye. There's times that we want to throw in the towel. Y'all ain't gonna be real on this thing today. We want to throw in the towel. And if the marriage is real, I'm not. And so this is another thing, because there's a difference from being married, and there's also a difference of just being with somebody. Oh my God, because a lot of times people are married, but they just with the other person. Because a marriage says that even though I've thought about throwing in the towel, it's not going to make me cheat. It's not going to make me compromise. And so if your spouse can do something to you that would, you can't say, oh my God, you can't say, well, I cheated because you didn't pay me any attention, or I start texting and talking to somebody else because you didn't value me. Understand this, that you got to learn how to stay committed even in those hard times. Watch this. If you can see somebody else and say that this is the reason why I compromise, or this is the reason why I want to step outside of my marriage, then it doesn't speak to your spouse. It speaks to you. Because many times God cannot strengthen the connection until it's tested. I taught something the other week in Bible study, and I want to lift it with you, because if you've ever been familiar with anything dealing with IT, or anything dealing with your internet router, or anything like that, what happens is when it wants to test the connection, it has to test it by stripping it down to its natural resource. Oh my God. And so what happens is, if you have over 10 entities that are helping the connection, it strips it down just to test the one. And then after it gets a strong connection from the one, then it goes to two. So what are you saying? You're saying that I don't want to lose anything, and I don't want to go through anything, but understand that it's a sacrifice. Understand that sometimes God has to strip things just to get y'all back on the right stage. So hear me now, that you're saying, I want to be married. And I know you're desiring, and you said, I want to be married. I want the person that God has for me. I want to be with them. I want to have them. I want somebody to comfort me and hold me. But are you ready? And that's the most important question to ask, because I'm telling y'all, and I just want to talk and be transparent. I'm telling y'all that it is work. Not a day goes by, not a moment goes by. Apostle Unity said something to me like a month ago, and it shocked me, because he says, watch this, parents, many of you are parents on this thing. He said, when parents have children, you learn something new about your child every day. And he says, why is it that we're expecting, oh my God, why is it that we're expecting the marriage to be any different? You learn something new about your spouse every day. And so if you're not willing to learn, if you're not willing, here goes that key word, if you're not willing to adapt, then you're not ready for marriage. Because with marriage comes adaptation. With marriage comes maturity. With marriage comes evolving into something greater than what you were. And so you can't get in a marriage and say, I'm going to stay complacent. And so for many of you on this thing, what worked in your last relationship is not going to work in your marriage. Oh, so stop trying to bring the baggage and the good things and they may have been beneficial in that last relationship. They may have been beneficial in that last season, but understand that that's not going to work for this person that God has for you now. And so you're saying, I'm really ready to be married, but can you stop picking up the phone past 10:30 at night? I'm really ready to be married, but can you get away from your fleshly desires and seek God like never before? Can you pray and cover the person even when they cussing you out? Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to say that again. Can you pray and cover them even when they're cussing you out? A lot of times with marriage, if we be completely honest, a lot of times with relationships, period, the first thing we want to do is expose. But God is saying through covenant, you got to learn how to cover. Oh man, that somebody just say ouch right there. Because what happens is majority of the time with us is that we're so big to put it out there, and we're so busy to say what they did wrong and what they didn't do right. But can you cover them even when they cussing you out? Can you cover them even in calamity? Can you cover them even in dysfunction when things are not going the way you planned? Because what happens is after you say I do, a bunch of I don'ts begin to happen. Oh, after you say I do, a bunch of I don't want to deal with this, and I don't want to be with you anymore, and I don't want to live like this, and I don't want to suffer, and I don't want to go through this. But what about the bad? Through sickness and in health, through rich and in poor. What happens when you get married and your husband loses his job? Oh, Jesus, and you got to step up to the plate because even though he's applying, he's not being hired. Oh, come on now. What happens when the lifestyle that y'all were able to afford in the beginning, now y'all can't afford that same lifestyle anymore? Oh, is that enough to make you pack up your bags and hit the door? Or is that enough to say, God, I'm fighting for this thing because I know that you're going to reap a blessing on the other side of this? And so what happens is we get into a season where we sow and we're mad because we're not reaping. But understand that God has to cultivate a thing. And so what happens? Are you willing to be a helpmate, women? Oh, man. And men, are you willing to be faithful? Because there's one thing to desire a woman and another thing to desire a wife. There's one thing to desire a provider, a man, and there's another thing to desire a husband. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. And so what are you desiring? Because what happens is you can be with a man and it's not a real marriage. You can be with a woman and she's not really a wife. And so you got to say that it's more than what you look like. Oh my God, it's more than what you make. Now, what are you saying? I'm not saying that he's not supposed to provide. I'm not saying that he's not supposed to take care of the home, but there will be times where he's falling short. There are times in my marriage where I don't have all the funds that I need to take care of the house, and my wife makes up the difference. There are times where I have been in situations where I messed over the finances, whether it was investments or whether it was trying to help everybody and whether it was trying to take care of this and take care of that, and the finances got funny and my wife had to step up to the plate. Now she could have took her money, took care of her bills and ran off, but watch this. She says, even though you messed up, I'm still going to cover you. Oh, because what God put together, Jesus, what God put together. And what happens in the midst of a fight, in the midst of an argument, come on, I've been there, I'm guilty. In the midst of something going wrong, in the midst of confusion or miscommunication, in the midst of anger, oh my God, in the midst of ignorance and arrogance, we forget that God put it together. Jesus. We forget that God put it together. And so you're saying, I want to be married. Oh my God. But can you be married, oh my God, without attacking him or her with their past? Because the first thing out of your mouth is, oh, you doing me just like everybody else did. But you want to be married. But how is it that I say God gave me this, but I still keep comparing you to what I went through with other people? Y'all don't like it. What happens when you say, I want to be married and I know this is a person God has for me, but you keep treating them like you treated your ex? So, but your expectation of this new relationship is the same as the old one. Oh my God. And God is saying, I need somebody to type this. God is saying that you can't evolve until you increase your expectation. Oh my God. And he's not going to bless it until you increase your appreciation. Because oh my God, it's more than just paying bills, or it's more than just being faithful, or it's more than just coming home at night. Many times you want to be married and get praise for the stuff that you're supposed to be doing. Oh my God. You want to get married just to get praise for being faithful. That is a requirement to God. Oh, you don't get brownie points for that. You don't get brownie points for bringing the paycheck home. You don't get brownie points for coming home at night. You don't get brownie points for not disrespecting your spouse. Though, stop looking for brownie points for things that you're supposed to do. But what's happening with society now, that society is teaching us that it's a bonus, it's a plus when somebody is faithful to us. Baby, the devil is a liar. That is something that God designed and created for marriage. You don't get brownie points for talking to me like I'm an adult and not a child. You don't get brownie points for not cheating on me. Ooh. You don't get brownie points for being dependable. Are you really ready to get married? Okay. If you're ready, seriously, if you're ready, how do I know I'm ready? When I value God's assignment more than man's opinion. Oh, Jesus. Because you're not really ready. Oh God, I feel deliverance right here. You're not really, I feel it here. You're not really ready. Oh, Jesus. If you cannot divorce your family and friends and cleave to the person that God has you to be with. Oh my God. When a man becomes husband and wife, it says that they leave home and cleave to one another. What it means, they have to unwind with everything else and become intertwined with each other. So that means that what worked for mommy and daddy and them might not work for you. Oh my God. You can't say I want to be married and then when something go wrong, you want to get on the phone with your mama and your daddy and talk bad about your spouse. You can't say that I want to be married and I want to be with this person, but the moment they do something you don't like, it's okay. I go live back with my mama. You can't say, oh, come on, this conviction for me, if I be completely honest. You can't say that, watch this is a person that God has for me, and this is the person that God designed for me, and in a moment of, oh my God, in a moment of strife, in a moment of miscommunication, in a moment of debate and debacle, in a moment of anger, you say, I can just go back home. Come on. One of the most hurting things, and I'll share it because y'all know I don't cut no corners. One of the most hurting and devastated things that I did to my wife was I told her that, watch this, I was good before I met you. In a moment of frustration, in a moment of anger, in a moment because I wanted my voice to be heard, in a moment because I wanted her to hear me, in a moment where I wanted to exert my dominance, so my pride and my ego got in the way. I told her, watch this, that I was good before I met you. And do you know that is words that came out of my mouth that I'm still paying for a year later? Y'all don't like it. Y'all don't like it. Go get on one of the other people Facebook lives if y'all want that feel good stuff. But I'm still paying for something that I told her out of hurt, out of frustration, because I wanted her to hear me. Oh my God. But how can I want her to hear me and I'm not even listening to her? And so I said that I was good before I met you. Oh my God. But that's not biblical, because watch this. The only thing I got to fall back on is her. And God had to stop me and tell me that you might have been good before you met her, but guess what? You didn't have favor. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I'm in this parking lot. I can't get too excited. He said you might have been good before you met her, but you didn't have favor. Oh my God. The reason why you elevated is because of the favor. And so what are you saying on this thing right now? Because you have to get out of the habit of trying to run back to everybody else once you've gotten a commitment and got into a union with a person before God. Majority of our relationships are failing not because of finances, not because of lack of communication, but because we got fallback plans. Ooh, y'all quiet. We're going into a marriage, we're going into a union with a plan B. Oh my God, I don't know why I hear this, but I need somebody to decree and declare no escape plan. God is saying don't enter another relationship with an escape plan. God is saying that don't enter a union, don't enter a marriage with an escape plan. Because what happens is if you create an escape plan, that means that in a moment of frustration, in a moment of discontent, in a moment of disconnect, what will happen is you'll be looking for a way out. But if this is the person that God has for you, if this is the relationship that you're seeking, if you're saying that you're really ready for marriage, then there is no escape plan. Y'all don't like it. There is never a plan B when it comes to faith. Jesus, I hear you, God. There is never a plan B when it comes to faith. Oh, Jesus. Listen, Peter didn't have a plan B when he stepped out the boat into the water. Either it was sink or swim, but there was no way, oh my God, he was returning back to the boat. Jesus. There was no way he was returning back to the boat without God. When Jesus took the fish and the 5 barley loaves, oh my God, there was no plan B. His disciples were trying to create a plan and say, send these people home, send them their way, we can't feed them. But Jesus say, no, there ain't no plan B. I'm going to make it work with what I have. I wish I had some real people on this thing right now that says that I'm going to make it work in my marriage. Come on now. The next relationship God gives me, if I'm seeking marriage, then I'm going to make it work before the Father. No plan B. Leave mother and father. And watch this. Oh, y'all ain't going to like this. And I don't even too much care. But if you're really ready for marriage, then you got to get out of close communication with your single friends. I've seen a lot of relationships derailed because of who they were connected to friendship-wise. Oh my God. Because what happens is you never realized, you didn't understand that friend had envy and bitter in them because what didn't happen to you, but what didn't happen to them. And so they're not really mad because it's you. They're mad because it's not them. And so instead of telling you to hold on and fight, and I'm not saying just your single friends, because it's married people that'll tell you to give up. Oh my God. Because, Jesus. Yeah, the devil used married people too to speak a curse over your marriage. Child, if I was you, I wouldn't put up to that, but she get knocked upside her head. Man, if I was you, I would leave her, but he been cheating on his wife for 10 years. So you have to be careful who you communicate with when you're in connection with somebody. Because what happens is, oh my God, bitter souls create broken relationships. And they'll talk you out of the promise of God because of what didn't happen for them. So are you willing to give up friendships? Listen, I love this woman to death. Y'all see it every day. I love my wife to death. Post as much as I can. And when we got married, there were a lot of relationships that I had to get rid of. There were a lot of friendships that I had to let go of. Why? Because I respected my marriage. And what happens is it's not their fault, oh my God, but it's your responsibility, because what happens with many people is that they don't know what God has for you. So it's easy for them to disrespect what God is giving you because they don't see the value like you see it. And I had to disconnect from some things of some people because I wasn't going to allow them to disrespect what God had for me. Oh, can I help you there? Anybody disrespecting your spouse ain't family or friend. I don't care how low down they may be acting. I don't care how dirty the situation may be. Never allow somebody to disrespect the favor and the person that God is giving you. Because what happens is if they don't respect your spouse, then they're really disrespecting you. Oh, Jesus. So are you really ready? Because it's painful. And understand this, because if you don't have forgiveness, then being married does nothing for you. Oh, God had to teach me that. If you can't forgive, then please don't get married. Leave it alone. Oh, Jesus. Because marriage comes with forgiveness. Because understand this. Husbands, love your wife like Christ loved the church. Even though they persecuted and lied and ridiculed him, he still forgave them. Watch this. You're a part of the church. You're on this thing because you're connected to the church, not the building, but because of, oh my God, because of relation with him. So love your wife like Christ loved the church. What are you saying? He loved you past your faults. Ooh, man. He loved you past your faults. He covered you in your mess. He still died to himself to save you. So don't get into a marriage and think that it's not some stuff that you're going to have to take for the sake of your spouse. Because the first thing you want to say, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I told her. Oh, man. And that don't have, no, it got everything to do with you because it's connected to your name. And understand this. I'm going to close with this. But I need to say this. God giving me so much, but I got to do a part 2 to this, y'all. I got to go. But I'm going to close with this. Oh, Jesus. Stop thinking, oh, God, that marriage heals brokenness. Somebody gonna inbox me on that because they don't believe that. Watch this. Stop thinking that if they were lying before y'all got married, that's automatically gonna change when they say I do. Yeah. A lot of times we think that marrying the person puts a greater responsibility on them, but it also makes them run. Because if they were lying, cheating, and cursing, and fighting, and beating, and abusing you, and manipulating, and deceiving you in the beginning, before the union, don't think that just because you jumped the broom, that's going to change. Oh, my God. Because there has to be a transformation before you hit the altar. There has to be a transformation before you say, I do. There has to be a transformation before you jump over the broom. And so you got to stop thinking that marriage is going to heal those open wounds. Oh, my God. Oh, there it is, Patrice. All it does is amplify what's in the flesh. Why is it? Oh, come on. Some of y'all have been there. Why is it that I'm married and now I'm talking crazier than what I ever talked? Why is it that I'm married now and now I'm trying to have more sex with women that I'm not married to, with men that I'm not married to, than what I was when I was single? Why is it that all of these things are popping up out of my flesh now that I'm married? And because what happened was it only amplified what was in you. Jesus. So what's in you gets amplified after the union. Because now you're comfortable. And when your flesh gets comfortable, then the real you starts to show. That's why when you got in a relationship, everything was good at the beginning. But after y'all, oh my God, after y'all had sex, even though y'all wasn't married, but y'all did a union act. Come on. But we did a union act, and all of those things that was for marriage, we begin to perform these duties like we were married, and we begin to perform these acts as if we were married. And so we took on that form. And so what began to happen was you oh my God, you begin to say that that wasn't a person I met. That wasn't the person that I thought they were. And what happened was everything that was in them came out through amplification. Yeah. So now you're mad and you're saying that this ain't even the person. Who are you? Who am I? Not realizing that was in your flesh before you got married. Come on. You didn't develop that app when you got with them. That was in you before. And so make sure you deal with that before you put somebody, heal before you try to involve somebody else in it. Be delivered and be set free before you try to involve somebody else in it. Because the reason why marriages now in the United States only last 6 months to 2 years, Jesus, is because what happens is our flesh amplifies because we don't really know who we are, and we really don't know who they are before we get into a union with someone. Ugh. And stop using, for my married people on there, stop using the word divorce. I sense some married folks. I see some married folks on here. And I want to tell you this, that even through an argument, stop mentioning the word divorce. Jesus. Because you're frustrated. Well, we can get a divorce. Stop mentioning that, because when you say divorce, that gives the devil leadway in your house. When you say divorce because you're angry, because you're frustrated, because you're upset, I want a divorce. What happens is, there it is, devil, you cursing your house. You are it's like you opening the doors and allowing the enemy to come in. Because when you release that curse, when you release those words over your house, what happens is the enemy snatches a hold on it, and he begins to feed your mind. He begins to feed your flesh and make you say that, yeah, maybe a divorce is better. Oh man, who am I talking to besides myself? Oh my God. I told my wife, listen, we were into it fighting. And I said, you know what, you can go your way and I can go mine. And what began to happen was the enemy began to feed my flesh with every desire that I wanted. People were loving me and hating her. And God said, because of your pride, because of your ego, you think that this is of me when it's really not. You think that you're being elevated and you're doing the right thing because you still got favor and people still loving and supporting you, when that ain't me. Because if it was me, they would be praying for the both of y'all. If it was me, the elevation would come through both of y'all. I'll share that testimony, what happened yesterday later. Oh my God. And so you're thinking that, because God is still bringing me up and they in their mess. No, that's not what marriage is. So God bless you. God keep you. If you're just now tuning in, go back, watch this on the replay. Please do us a favor, share this and bless it across the world. I love each and every one of y'all. I thank y'all for tuning in. We're going to give y'all some more transparent talk, but I couldn't leave out of this parking lot without giving y'all that word. God bless each and every one of y'all. I promise y'all, we're trying to get this across the world. Share this with everybody that you know so they can see that God is performing a new thing and he's using real authentic vessels, not those people that get on Facebook Live, not those people that get on Instagram, not those people that have all these major platforms, but they're living in turmoil. God is trying to use real and authentic vessels to bring deliverance back to the church. God bless you. God to keep each and every one of y'all. Keep pushing, pray, prepare, and praise until something happens in your life. We're praying for you and your union. God bless.